You have to go in there. Thank you. Bye. You just want to take a 30-minute nap?
You're going to go... We can lay the seat down in the Tahoe.
And do...
Lay backwards.
Oh. And...
You can do that, too. Brown chicken, wow.
I think this is the big episode 40.
40 episodes?
40.
And we have 12 followers.
Yes. We have more than 12 followers.
What do we have?
We're up to 159.
Holy shnikes.
We are...
Speaking of shnikes...
We're basically famous.
We let the boys watch Tommy Boy last night.
That's true.
The 5-year-old and the 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Every 5-year-old loves the 90s movies because all they do is get hit in the nuts, say shit, damn it, and hell.
A lot. It's like, God, I don't remember all this profanity.
And all he does during the movie is, oh, he said the word, can I say it? And then I said, no, you can't say it. He goes, well, why can't I say it? Why are you letting me watch the movie? I said, because these are movies that I grew up on, and back in my day, we just knew not to say it.
Or you get slapped.
Oh, you get slapped big. Because I remember once the TV went off in our house, like JE went out or like cable went out.
Yeah.
And I told my brother, I was like, stop looking at the goddamn TV. I got bitch slapped.
I'm sure.
Hard.
Let's dive into these puppies over here. You want to...
So, shout out to Pete's down in downtown Jacksonville. We were there for a birthday party, and I was like, hey, while we're here, let me ask, because there's all these sour things. Figured they had to have something sour. And so I asked them, I was like, do you have anything sour? And they're like, oh, Warheads. I'm like, those aren't sour. And I found this gem in the back of a bookcase, and I was like, deal. It's the only one left, so I jumped on it. So we're going to try this one, and then we're going to try one of these and see how sour they are. This one's called Toxic Waste Hazardly Sour Candy. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna
try the cherry. All right.
Bloody. I think I'm gonna go bloody. What's this one? I can't do apple. Oh, I'll do watermelon. I like watermelon.
All right, we're doing the same time.
Yep. All right, ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna get.
I'm as ready as a. I don't know. Okay, ready? 1,
right.
2, 3. Move your tongue around. Nope.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
I feel like the Warheads are more sour than that.
Warheads are way more sour than that. Those are a waste of $5. Alright.
Did we talk about the lemon thing? I think we
already did it, and it didn't work.
But we talked about it, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Or me and Sam did the whole lemon challenge thing.
We did it with the boys.
Shot of lemon juice, and both of us were just... I mean, I guess it's because we just knocked it back. I mean, are you supposed to swish it around in your mouth? But
no, even the 5-year-old and the 12-year-old didn't react to the lemon juice. Alright.
Well, that wasn't sour. I mean, slightly...
That's like candy.
It's good, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Alright. You want black cherry, watermelon, lemon, or apple?
Those would be more sour?
Supposedly.
Give me the cherry.
Yeah, you take the cherry. I don't like cherry. Go on watermelon again.
I got my new shirt. Sam got me, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Bigfoot, UFO. I almost like stuck in my teeth. I'm not going to chew this one out because I'm going to have some crap in my teeth for the whole episode. This one's like sticking to the paper. So.
Yeah. Maybe it's just melted. It doesn't look sour.
All right, you ready?
This is gonna be disappointing.
Let me get a palate.
Toxic
I get
waste
a palate cleanser.
Ass.
Are you ready?
1, 2, 3.
It's not really sour either.
And I did the lemon.
A little bit. I feel like Warheads are the worst. Right?
I have some. You want to try Warhead?
I guess. Are we doing just all sour? This is the sour episode.
Oh, right here. Yeah, that wasn't sour at all.
All right, I'm gonna try blue raspberry. These are, as a kid, I remember being like,
You remember the Crybabies?
yeah,
Crybaby,
but it probably had illegal stuff in it that these don't have in them anymore.
Do you remember when we gave Bodie his first sour thing? He took a bite of it. Oh, it's the cutest video ever. He literally went cross-eyed. It was hilarious. All right, I'll do lemon. This one says it's string sour. What does yours say? So supposedly, there's a black one. It's like a black atomic warhead.
It's an African American.
Shut up. That's not what I was... God. Why do you have to take it there?
Culturally appropriate, Sam. Don't.
The packaging is black. This ain't gonna do anything.
Careful. Oh, this one's like stuck to the thing. All right.
This isn't gonna do anything. Ready?
I feel like they used to have like stuff on them. These are just like gooey.
These new age kids. Cheers.
It's sour, but it's not like... I remember as a kid being like making funny faces and stuff. A little sour, but that was more sour than the other ones.
It was. That twitched my eye a little bit. Maybe because of all the whiskey and vodka we drink over the years. Whatever your taste buds.
It is possible. I'm all just sticky.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Okay. I got a video.
I can't feel my tongue now.
That's...
Like, it doesn't have any taste.
Alright, I got a couple videos I want to show you. Alright. So this is... Have you heard about the Teslas and the Ghost? Have I told you about this?
No. Ooh.
Yeah! Alright. So, I saved this one. So this is... There's all these videos on like TikTok and stuff. You could type in Tesla Ghost and it'll pull them all up. Man. Okay. But basically, like, you know, like if you're driving, well, you don't know this, but if you're driving a Tesla, it'll pick up like people. Like if somebody walks in front of your car, it'll pick them up. It shows you on the screen that there's a person. So the people have been driving around with Teslas, and it's picking up like this isn't a graveyard or cemetery,
and nobody's there.
And it's picking up a person.
Wow.
Standing off to the side.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
So, I mean, thanks for...
It doesn't scare me one bit.
Yeah, it's a person.
It doesn't have to scare you. I just thought it was interesting. In the future, I will present any videos. Like, you realize this is a content show, right? Like, you're supposed to act interesting.
I know, but like
Oh my god, I don't need the sound. But like, there's some like this one.
Well, there's like multiple.
There's a bunch of them where they're driving through like graveyards, like
Called cemeteries, not graveyards.
I said, well, whatever.
There's a difference. If you look up the definition, it's different. Oh, I think that was a ghost.
Smelled like it.
Seafood and sour candy.
Jesus, bro. So here's one. Let's see. This one looks creepy. Of course, it's like an 8-minute long. But see, this is like in a cemetery, and it just spots.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's picking up the gravestones or what, but I mean, a gravestone's like a foot or two off the ground. Like that one's moving and walking.
Probably. I'm down with it. Can we rent a Tesla for the day and go to the cemetery?
I would be down to do it.
Would you?
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Let's fucking do it.
Where do you get a Tesla?
Can't you rent them?
I'm assuming somewhere you can. But type it in Tesla Ghost and TikTok. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. I was like,
you got plans? Remember we went.
I had no way to
Remember
explain
we can do a sleepover date night.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Just drive around on the Tesla. The best thing here, I do have a question. If you like Teslas are self-driving, certain ones. I don't think it's all of them. If you're drinking, okay, and you're intoxicated.
I'm pretty sure you still get a DUI. You're behind the wheel.
No, listen. If you're in the back seat and the Tesla's driving you home, can you get a DUI? Because Because you have no control over that car. So at that point, how is it like? Have you seen the self-driving cars they have in some I think they're in California. Like
Ubers.
you can order an Uber and it's just a car and it picks you up and it's driving itself.
Right.
You get in the back seat.
How
is that
a
any different?
self-driving Uber can pick you up at a bar and you not get in trouble, then your own self-driving car should not get in trouble.
So like,
I don't know.
if you get in your Tesla, and I don't know how they work, but I'm assuming it'll let you punch it in. So say you punch in the address. Mm-hmm. Crank the car, you hop in the back seat, fall asleep, and let it drive you home.
But if you're the one cranking the car...
What if you have a sober friend crank it for you? You get in the back seat.
You can't prove you had a sober friend crank it for you.
You can't prove that I cranked it.
Okay, all right, I don't know. I'm not down with this whole AI robot.
I want to know. I want to know, because that would be handy.
Did you see the Joe Rogan post where he posted that a robot went all human?
I saw that.
I tagged you in it.
Yeah.
But he was like, I don't like it because it acted very human-like because like the crowd was antagonizing it and it went all like
it looked, and I commented on it.
There's no head to it, which is even weirder.
I commented on it and said it looks like it was doing the hold me back, bro. Like, dude, I'm gonna go over there and fight this guy. Act like you're holding me back. He was like, yeah, you want
but the fact
that hands up.
But the fact that it even has that cognate
most of those are controlled by people. That came out. Like we talked about them before when all those robots. We did an episode and they showed them walking and stuff. Mm-hmm. Each of those robots had a person somewhere else with a VR set on and a controller, basically. So those robots weren't doing anything.
So basically, we're turning into WALL-E.
No. We're
human
is controlling
a player game one or player one game or game player that is.
Nope, that's a video game. Totally different. The whole thing the whole thing that's impressive about the robots is that they're up walking around by themselves. When you remove that from it, that's not interesting at all. If somebody's controlling it, it's just a remote control robot.
Yeah.
That's cool, but we've had remote control cars for 30 years or 40. They're
kind of lame.
Neat. This is just a bigger version of it that walks. It's not that impressive. The thing that was impressive is that it's a individual. It's controlling itself. Mm-hmm. When you take that out of it, I'm like, well, why? That's not how is that cool? So, are you ready to talk about my documentary?
Are you ready to talk about my ghost encounter?
You can talk about that if you want.
You don't believe it.
You're alleged ghost encounter.
It's not alleged. It happened.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so...
Proceed.
Wednesday night, Thursday morning, the youngest came in our bed, and he snores. How bad does he snore?
A lot.
Like a fucking trucker. Like an adult man. 2 adult men sleeping next to me. Snoring.
I don't snore.
The hell you do not.
So I don't know.
You know you do. You have bruises on your ribs to prove that you do snore.
Is that what that is?
Yep.
Oh, it's back here.
That's why it hurts to take a deep breath. Anyways.
I'm okay.
Anyways, so he got in our bed. I couldn't take it anymore. Finally, Cody got up and picked him up and took him back to his room. Then he ended up coming back to our room, and I said, I can't do it. I have 2 more hours, and I want my 2 hours of sleep. So I went to the living room. This time I didn't sleep in the office on the old leather couch. I slept on the living room leather couch. Oh my God. And there's 2 bookcases. So the way I was laying, there's 2 bookcases, and all it has in it are photo frames. There's no books. We don't read.
We have the internet.
Anyway. So there's no books. It's all picture frames. There's no way something can fall over. You would see it, blah, blah, blah. It would break. Stop.
Is it weird when you're telling a story and people keep burping?
No, that's fine. Anyways, so I had fallen asleep and I was laying there on my back and I was light sleeping where I could hear everything going on around me, but I could feel like I was asleep. I wasn't angry. I was asleep. What are you doing now? Anyways,
I'm listening to your story.
I heard something that sounded like a book fall over and bang on the bookshelf. And it literally sounded like I heard wake up. Because I heard
Right, bro.
loud. And I lay there and I told myself, don't open your eyes. You don't want to see what is standing there. Like, I literally told myself, you don't want to see what's standing there.
So I come up guns hot. Ready to throw.
The small dog was in the crate out in the Florida room. So she's not in here. The big dog...
Well, dogs can't talk, so.
Shut up. The big dog was in the little one's room. The door shut, still sleeping. No one else was in here. I turned off all the lights. I turned off the ice maker. Nothing was going on. And I heard that. And I lay there and I said, you don't want to wake up. Don't open your eyes. So I lay there for a few more minutes. Then I heard twice.
Now, you can't listen to some of these podcasts I listen to because you'd have been...
And I laid there for a minute and I literally said out loud, I said, fuck you, go away. I want sleep. I literally said that out loud and I didn't hear it again. But I told you a couple weeks ago when I came out here and slept on the couch that my mom gave me this clock and I hate tick-tock clocks. They are the worst. They're the devil. I hate things that go...
People understand what clocks do.
Okay. My mom gave me this, it's like a photo thing, and one side's a clock and one side's a photo frame, and it's got a picture of my grandfather, or maybe my great-grandfather, I can't remember. But for the longest time, I've never heard that clock tick. I thought it was dead. Otherwise, I would have taken the batteries out of it the second I entered this house, because I hate clocks.
She's Captain Hook. Secretly, she may be a pirate. We're not sure. 23andMe, if you want to sponsor us, we're going to run the background check to see if she has any ties to the Caribbean, or maybe she's some kind of French pirate. I don't know, but we would like to know. Go ahead.
Anyways, that clock started ticking 2 weeks ago, and it hasn't stopped. It never ticked before.
The bigger thing is that we may have found the longest lasting battery of all time.
Yeah, because I don't know who put the battery in it. I don't know who. I'm pretty sure.
We need to research.
I need to ask my mom.
Copper top, baby.
I need to ask my mom. Like, where did it come from? And then, do you put a battery in it? Because when she gave it to me, it did not tick and it did not talk. Otherwise,
there was no ticking or talking.
There was no ticking. There was no talking.
All right, Captain Hook. Let's settle down and get back on topic here.
Wait.
There's more.
Now it makes sense because that night on the couch. Wait, maybe I am a pirate. That night on the couch, I had the dream, and I told Jackson about it Thursday morning when I took him to the bus stop before the field trip. I said I had a nightmare last night. He said, "Oh yeah, what was it about?" And I said, "We were at the old house that had a canal behind it, and we had a gator once when we lived there. He would sunbathe on our pool decking. He was in the yard. We used to see him. We had to call a gator catcher because wildlife wouldn't come get him." And the gator catcher came out and got him with a raw chicken with a fishing hook. Remember I told you that? Anyways.
I need an Adderall. Where are we going here?
So here's what's funny. I had a dream that night about a crocodile eating Fred. Fred went out to the canal. She was swimming. The alligator... I did not realize this.
All right.
That was the same night I had the and the ticking and the talking.
Okay.
So maybe I am a pirate. I think
I'm going to edit that whole segment out. That was.
I think the Adderall is fucked with my head.
Oh my god. Jesus
But
Christ.
The alligator came up, ate the dog, and Bear was over on the other side of the canal, sniffing around, and I called for him, and that dumbass dog swam through the canal.
All right. Why don't you drink some beer and let me talk for a while? Because unless our audience is on some kind of amphetamines or cocaine or massive amounts of Red Bull, everyone's asleep. Do you want me to tell them about my dream that I woke up to? You want me to tell them about that?
Oh, the one that woke me up?
Yeah.
2 nights in a row I've been woken up.
Mine will be a little bit shorter and more interesting. So, we were watching, what's that show called first?
Perfect Couple. Which, by the way, is really good. You should watch it.
It's on Netflix. It's got Nicole Kidman and that Levi Schreider. The guy was in one of the X-Men movies, I think.
He was Cotton Weary. And screams.
Yeah, that guy too. But anyway, and I listen to it like at work. I listen to all these murder podcasts and stuff like that. So I have a dream, okay? And
Okay, Martin. I have a dream.
I have a dream. It was terrifying. I have this dream, and it's one of those super vivid dreams that you're locked into, and it feels like it goes on forever. Okay, so I have a dream. Sam calls me into a room, and she has abducted 2 people. Okay?
Don't say the names.
Yeah, there's 2 people. One of them I know. The other person I had no idea who it was. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's got them locked in like a cage or something. And I'm like, Sam, this is not good. What are you doing? And she says, she's like, I don't know what to do with them. What do you think we should do? And I'm like, I think you should let them go. I think we should probably let them go. I don't know why I'm involved in this. Why have you abducted 2 people? How did they get here? I have so many questions. So Sam's like, we got to get rid of the bodies. I'm like, Sam, they're still alive. There's no bodies. They're alive. Okay. So Sam in the dream goes, Cody, listen, if we let them go, they're going to send me to prison for kidnapping. You're going to have to raise the kids on your own.
Obviously.
I was like, we got to get rid of the bodies. We got.
You don't raise the kids by yourself.
Yeah, I just bought it instantly. I'm like, yeah, we got to kill them and get rid of them. I don't know. What do you think? What do you? You want to get a pen and paper? Go out to the kitchen, write down some ideas. So this is my dream. So in my dream, I'm like, I listen to too many crime podcasts. I know how they always get caught, and I'm like, all right, so let's do this. All right. So you were like, and we ran through some lists. You were like, what if we take them to the Everglades and drop them off? And I was like, that's true. I don't think they'll fit in the car. We're probably going to have to cut them up. And you're like, yeah, obviously. And I'm like, but I was like, they're going to track my cell phone. And you were like, oh, yeah, cell phones. I'm like, I could leave it there, but how are we going to explain that I went that far away? Like, where was I? I don't have an alibi. And you're like, yeah. And I was like, and I don't want to go to jail for this because it's your fuck up. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that. And then there was something else like we were talking about. And you were like, what if we bury him in the backyard? And I'm like, Sam, the cadaver dogs, they'll find it. They could sniff that out. And you're like, well, that's true too. And I said, but wait, why would we be suspects? Is there anything leaking? Like, I was running through everything in this dream. I'm like, what would link you to him? Where did you get him? Where did you get this? So I woke up in like a cold sweat, not because of the murders. I was in a cold sweat because I was stressed out about us getting caught for the murders. Like, I was like, oh my God, we're not going to get away with it. How are we going to get past this? And I was so stressed out when I woke up.
He was.
I woke up and I went, oh my God.
He was looking for his pants.
Oh my God. I was like, what?
That's what woke me up was his belt jiggling on his pants. He was trying to find something in his
Oh my
pants.
God. So I got on my phone and I was like, let me
listen to another murder podcast.
No, I turned on like Netflix and watched. I think I turned on like Tacoma FD. I was like, let me just lay on my side and watch Tacoma. Oh my God, it was so stressful. I mean, it was at like 3. I didn't go to sleep. I didn't go back to sleep because I was so stressed out about how we were gonna get rid of the bodies.
He went to the gym.
Yeah, I got up. I was like, it was like 4:30. I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym. There's no point in laying here for 30 more minutes or an hour. I was up. So here's the thing that's so funny. Sam is such a light sleeper. She heard me getting my phone out of my jeans on the floor, like my belt. She was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What?"
I hear the oldest when he gets up in the middle of the night and goes to the bathroom.
I'm just like, "What? Why are you awake?"
I think it's like, why?
And then the next day you said, "Well, you kept me up all night." I'm like, I reached over and got like my phone out of my jeans on the floor.
Why was your phone still in your jeans? Why wasn't it on your nightstand on the charger?
I don't know. I just forgot to plug it up.
Nuts.
But she was acting like I was walking around the room like banging on like cymbals or something. Like, hey! I was like, yeah, just like the light belt jingle.
Ding 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 ding.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about my Netflix thing I watched, and then we're done. Okay?
All right.
Are you ready?
Are you shutting me off? Okay.
No. You got something else?
No. Go ahead.
I'm trying to keep us on track here.
No.
On track.
No.
I watched. I forget what it's called, but it's about the OJ stuff.
OJ Simpson trial?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Type in OJ in Netflix, it'll come up. It's like it was
God.
it was on the top 10. You know, they have like the top 10 this week or whatever. It was
By the way, I don't like the attorney on the Netflix series
which one?
that talks like this with his teeth always showing, whatever his name
that
is.
guy.
I don't like you, and I have a few choice words.
He acted. It was on OJ's side. He acted like he was a bigger deal than he was, and he was like, I literally.
He was like the third attorney to.
He was like
Cochran.
the fifth attorney.
Whatever.
He's just.
What is it? Whatever. What's his name?
Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
And then
He's
Kardashian
like,
and
like
Shapiro.
The Cochran, and like he's like the little weasel all the way over here. Like,
you're the
shut
guy
the
that
fuck up,
you're the
dude.
guy that hands Johnny the papers. Okay.
Like you heard nothing during the
But
trial.
he was
You
a
need
big
to shut up.
big proponent on the racist thing. All right.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, let me focus back up here. Okay. If you watch the first episode, there is so much, and we were kids when this happened. I remember everyone talking about it.
I remember
the
Bronco chase.
Yeah, and I remember we actually watched the verdict in my Catholic elementary school. They put it on the TV so we could watch it. I was in like
That's because the teachers wanted to watch
probably
it.
5th grade, 6th grade. We all sat there and watched the murder conviction verdict on TV in the classroom. And the teacher was like, all right, math class. So anyway, if you watch the first episode of this, because I've never really looked into it other than just remembering what I remember as a kid, there is so much evidence against him. It is baffling that he got off.
But they did disprove it. That
No.
At the time that they took the pictures,
No.
and then they went back to pictures, and all of a sudden it was there.
A lot of it is like reverse circumstantial evidence where they're saying, well, they could have planted this. I'm like, you could do that with every trial in the history of the world. You have no evidence they planted that. There was one drop of blood that they had a photo of. They talk about like the third episode or so. It's only like 3 parts. There was a picture of a drop of blood they had taken where it's like on top of a pole.
The fence?
It's like on the gate or something. It's up top. And then another photo, it's a little bit further down. And I'm like, there's 800. So in the car, okay, OJ's Bronco parked outside of his house. There is Ron's blood, Nicole's blood, and OJ's blood inside the car, outside the car,
And on the door or something.
It's on the door, it's on the inside, and he left a bloody trail from the Bronco up to his house, up the driveway. Like, this is literally, like, the only way it could be more convincing is if they had caught him holding a knife stabbing them. Like, it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. And then they investigate it and find the bloody glove is behind like his guest house, which I don't know why he wouldn't have thrown that away, but to be fair, whatever. But the blood on the Bronco and trailing up the driveway is enough for me to say he did it. So he had cut, and he had a cut on his finger. Mm-hmm. Like, so that's like in whatever the altercation was, he cut himself
with the same knife, right?
And then his hand was bleeding and he bled up the driveway. Mm-hmm. So like you can plant evidence, it's hard to gather. I mean, unless they gathered like a syringe of blood, and then like you got to have some balls to be planting blood inside a car, trailing it like. This is not as simple as like having like the glove could be planted because that could have been in a bag and then you take it and you just throw it out there.
But the amount of blood that they found, you wouldn't have gotten from so they take a blood sample when there's something like this that happens, and they took his blood sample and they said they took OJ's blood sample, and the guy, there was a particular detective or whatever, he was. They brought this up in the thing that he was traveling around with it, like he hadn't given it to the lab yet, he hadn't dropped it off yet, but he was traveling around to all the sites and everything.
Well, they said he.
But hold on, the amount of blood that you have to take for a sample would not transpire into a walkway full of blood. Like when you take a sample, it's like
it wasn't
blood. It's like blood work.
It wasn't like a trail, like it wasn't like a liter of blood. But like just the fact that everything that they were trying to say was like that was planted. That's planted.
Yeah, they said everything was planted.
Oh, he planted. I'm like, you can't say everything was planted. Yeah. Like you could say, okay, well that maybe that, but it was like they tried to disprove all of it, and I'm like, I mean, there was so much evidence pointing to it, and it turned into be a racial thing because of the whole Rodney King thing, and I'm like, I don't care if you're white or black or whatever. There's a lot of evidence.
It wasn't a racial thing. He married a white woman, and a white woman married a black man. There's nothing racial about it.
But the cops were racist. And the biggest thing is like, they show him putting on the glove. That glove went on. He gets the whole glove on his hand and is holding it like this. The whole glove doesn't fit thing. I had always seen him doing this, where he's like, I can't get it on. They literally show him, and the glove's on. It's fully on. And they were talking about that because he had to put a latex glove on before he put that on.
So it wouldn't put his DNA on it.
But he still got it on because it's not the same thing as having a glove on. There's also a guy that I think it was his agent, and I could be wrong. Somebody in the episode. He said, well, what do I do about the glove? And somebody said, don't take your arthritis medicine. And he said, if I don't take my arthritis medicine, my hand's going to swell up. I mean, I'm not going to be able to move my hands. And he said, don't take your arthritis medicine. Because it swells up, like he had, from playing football and stuff, his knuckles and stuff. So his hand was swollen. But he straight up got that damn glove on. And I'm like, where did the whole glove doesn't fit? Like, I'll have to see if I can find a picture and post it in here. But he had the damn glove straight up on his hand. Like, there's no...
So, the ice machine was running this entire time.
Yeah?
It was so loud.
Yeah?
Because nothing's quiet in here.
Yeah.
Hopefully it didn't fuck with...
No, it's fine. It's on all the time. We have, like, one of those that makes, like, the little, like...
We got it for the
like
oldest.
the Sonic ice.
That was what he wanted for
Christmas. It's like
Christmas.
those little ice cubes, the tiny little ones.
Chick-fil-A ice.
All right, so the craziest thing... And there is a book, which I actually would like to read this, the book that OJ wrote that said, if I had done it, or whatever it was.
So basically confessed to doing it?
His agent, this was the thing that blew my mind, and if this is true, this is wild. So, there was multiple reports of him, like, beating her. Mm-hmm. Like, they had pictures of her bruised up. Yeah. There was multiple people, like his friends and stuff.
Chris Kardashian talks about it.
Yeah, they had interviewed, like, multiple people, and they're like, yeah, it was good. Like, people would talk to them, and but at this point, they were divorced and whatever. His agent, it was after the trial, after everything was done, he says, they're talking or something, and he says something like, OJ, I don't know if you did it or not. And he said, I was leaning towards you doing it. And he said, OJ says something like, so you think I did it? And he says, I mean, it really looked that way. And he said, OJ looked at me and said, if Nicole hadn't come to the door with a knife that day, she'd still be alive. So when he went over to her house and knocked on the door, she answered it with a knife.
Because she's been abused.
And he took it from her and killed her. And then that other idiot just walked up at the wrong time and got it too. Because that was the thing. There was reports of people. There was reports of somebody heard like a scream or something. Like there was a bunch of stuff that was left out of the trial. There was a guy that was at the airport that said that they saw him get out of the car, recognized him. He had a separate bag, and he walked up to a trash can and dumped 3 or 4 things into it, including he dumped them out of, like, took it out of the bag and put it in, and then he dumped the bag in the trash can and walked in the airport. And that guy was not included in the trial, was not questioned, was not whatever. And there was another lady that was seen passing, that saw him run, like he was driving the Bronco from basically where Nicole's house was back to his house, and almost ran her off the road, and then stopped and screamed at her or something, which I'm like, did that happen? Did it not? Who knows? But she was not included. And there was a ton of evidence that wasn't included. Like stuff they had, like pictures of, like, there was a bloody fingerprint on the handle to open the gate to get out of Nicole's house or whatever. Not included in the evidence. There was bloody prints on OJ's, like, light switch and all this stuff throughout the house that wasn't included. There was an empty knife box that was laying there that it said was not collected,
Wow.
was not, like, if you didn't watch the first episode, I think I did, and then you watched the second and third. If you go back and watch the first, like, 15 minutes of the first episode, you're like, he did it. There's literally no way he didn't.
Well, like everyone said, then he got in trouble for stealing back his
memorabilia, but I think he had to sell it off to pay for everything.
Yeah, because he was in over his head after everything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't attorney fees. He was in over his head. He gambled.
Even with
He had problems.
him leaving the country, when they document, or trying to leave the country, when they document him trying to leave, when he was in the Bronco and the chase, there's a bunch of stuff that said was not included. He had like I can't remember the amount. I should have wrote some of this down. But he had like something like 18 grand in cash. He had his passport. He had like, it was like a list of stuff that you're like, this is a leaving the country kit.
But like,
he was on his way to Mexico when they got the call.
How and why did everyone think he was so innocent back then? Even as a kid, you all knew. We all knew he was guilty.
It became a race thing back then, and I've never. I mean, I don't care. Like, if it's a white guy and he murders somebody, I'm not gonna be like, well, no. Like, I think it's one of the comedians says that. He talks about how he says, like, we're not gonna defend each other. Is that Tom or? It's one of them. He says if a white guy's getting beat up, he's like, we're not gonna defend him. He's like, but if a black guy's getting beat up, black people around might start jumping in. And that's just an overgeneralization. I don't care what race you are. If it looks like you're guilty, you're probably guilty. Like, and I'm all for defending people because, like, we joked around and kind of talked about old Scott Peterson.
But I feel like at the end, OJ got what was coming for him. Like, he didn't have, like, after the trial, after he got proven innocent, he didn't have that great of a life afterward.
He had a better life than spending the rest of his life in jail or getting in the electric chair.
Well, he had better life than that, but like, it was rough for him. He started gambling. He was in some other stuff, I'm assuming, and then the whole stealing back his memorabilia and then going to prison for that. Like, and then he eventually died. Wasn't he sick when he died? Did he have cancer or something?
I think so. That's another thing that's weird is the amount of NFL athletes that end up getting cancer and dying young. I don't get that.
The most shocking thing are the NFL players that get in trouble in general for abusing their wives, killing people, running mob games. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think it has something to do with concussions.
I don't know.
Which worries me because we have both of our boys are in football.
Stay on OJ.
I'm just saying, OJ was fucked up in the head. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
But
Homeboy was not normal.
It's worth a watch if you haven't watched. It's only like it's like 3 hour long episodes or whatever. But after that first episode, I'm like, you're not convincing me anything else. I just don't. I don't feel like, to be completely honest. I mean, I get like a cop. Because the cops had been out to her house where she'd been beaten up multiple times. But there's a recording of her or something where the police came or something. And one of the cops said, like, she literally ran out of the house and said, OJ's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. Help me, please. Like, so, it's just like, I don't know. Like,
honestly, OJ's brain should have been studied.
It would, they didn't. But see, they didn't do CTE stuff. Well, he just died recently.
Like 2 years ago or something like that. Like, it wasn't that long ago. He died after Hernandez, and they studied Hernandez. Well, don't get me started on Hernandez.
That dude's a serial killer.
But
Straight up.
So point in case, like OJ, I really do think like if you would study OJ's brain, he probably would have showed some of the same things.
But well, back then the helmets weren't as good, so it's possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe. I don't know. But it was interesting. It's worth a watch. Check it out and let us know if you watch it what you think in the comments, because I was like, I get how we got off. I mean, they just basically baited it into a race thing, but the evidence is more than like half of the podcast or documentaries I watch where they convict these guys.
The evidence was there.
Like compared to like the Scott Peterson thing, I'm like,
he had no evidence.
I'm like, they got no evidence on him. He bought a boat. That's all the evidence you guys have. You have nothing. There was no. I mean, when you've got both people's DNA in your car and your house and your driveway. I mean, it's just that's hard to get around. But that was the other thing they brought. DNA was relatively new back then, so people didn't really truly.
That was part of the trial. Was did you do this? And they're like, well, we didn't know to do that.
But no, they had it. They had tested it. But they had to explain to the jury what DNA was. Well, they didn't that wasn't a common thing.
The one guy that picked up something, like, did you use a glove? And he's like, I'm pretty sure I did. And they show a video, and he didn't use a glove.
Yeah, and I'm like well,
there's like all these different things that now is not a thing. Like when you walk into a crime scene, now they're like in full. They're Dexter decked out.
They showed him a video of him bagging something at one of the crime scenes.
And he picked it up with his fingers like that. Like, literally, he picked it up like this with the tips of his fingers.
And was putting it in a bag or something.
But he didn't have a glove on. So then they disputed it.
But that doesn't put DNA all over OJ's car. It literally looked like OJ wasn't even trying. Like, there was blood on, like, the door handle, on the inside, on the shifter.
Wasn't it on the steering wheel?
Like, it was... Like almost as if you had blood all over your hands and then you drove home. Like
I don't give a fuck.
It was everywhere. So
wait.
What?
I have one more thing to talk about before we
gotta wrap this up, baby.
Angel. We're gonna wrap it up. So we know how I like to injure myself.
Yeah. All the time.
I always have an injury.
Yep.
Back, the meniscus. There's been other things.
Everything.
So
always.
What did I hurt last Saturday that when we recorded last week's podcast, I had no idea I had it until I woke up Sunday morning? It was on my back.
Oh, the frostbite?
How does a girl in Florida get frostbite on a Saturday afternoon when it's 78 degrees outside?
Sam puts a ice pack directly on her back for...
I always do.
20 minutes or whatever. Her back, like, it burned her back. Her skin was like hard.
So my ice pack is a perfect square. It covers where the discs that are herniated are and everything in between. My back hurt. We were outside. It was hot. I didn't think about it. The boys have been going in and out of the freezer. We'll also post this where he freezes.
One topic at a time, sweetie.
But they're always in and out of the freezer. So my ice pack, I guess, at some point got frostbite on it. So it had
it just had frost on the outside of it.
So I pull it out. I go walk outside and I sit down in the chair and I put it on my back. I always put it to my skin. It's never been a problem.
Tis a problem now, love.
It froze my skin outside because it was hot. So, it just... And when I took it off, I was like, what's this hardness on my back? Literally, I was like...
the skin was
it felt like cardboard.
It was like... I was like, that's not good. I was touching it as the skin wasn't wrinkling.
It wasn't moving.
I was like, that's...
So I took it off and I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, Cody, did it freeze like a label or something to me? He's like, no, that's your skin. And my parents were here and they're like, you froze your back. Not thinking of anything. Well, I woke up Sunday morning and I was in so much pain.
It's red and
I have frostbite from the top of my pelvic hip bone all the way down to my butt. It's on my butt cheeks because that's where the herniated disc is in the lower It has been itchy. It has burned. It's now brown. It's scabbing. One of them bled. It's horrific. Like,
All right.
Wait.
Are we just? Is this
No.
is this an infinite? We have a next week. You can talk about other stuff.
What's the bruise? The bruise won't be here next week.
Sam has a giant bruise on her leg. She has no idea where it came from, and I'm like,
We saw it Monday.
I was like, "What is
Monday
that
morning.
bruise on your leg?" She's like,
Monday.
"Oh, I don't know."
It was Monday.
Oh, what bruise? What bruise? And I'm like, it's like this big.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's huge.
It's a 6 to 8 inch bruise, and it's just on her thigh. And I was like, you don't remember getting that? You don't remember hitting your leg on something really hard? And she's like, no, I remember that.
The only thing I could think is I had to have been sleepwalking. Because I do not remember walking into anything, hitting anything.
I'm like, I feel like I
slamming.
would remember that if I had slammed my leg into something so hard it created a deep purple bruise. That's
It's like this big, and it's on. We have pictures. We took pictures, but like I don't know how to explain it because he was like, "Where'd you get the bruise from?" I'm like, because it was Sunday.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, I slammed it into my desk or something." You're like,
It was
bruise?
It was Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting on the couch. You're like, "What's that bruise in your leg?" I'm like, "What bruise?" And I looked. I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's what I said. If you ever end up like dying mysteriously, they're gonna be like,
"See,
Sir,
that's the perfect segue from Cole Simpson into I have frostbite." And
so here's my piece. It would be that you cut yourself on something in the driveway and got blood everywhere, and then somehow came in and froze yourself to death in an ice bath, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, she cut herself accidentally. Then she froze herself in an ice bath." I'm like, yeah, she's
a dumb bitch.
I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't even here.
Wait, I've cut my
I went to the grocery store.
I cut my hand one time.
You stepped on a freaking nail out there
I
through
stepped
your
on
foot.
2 nails.
Like you, I was just like, that's what I said. I'm like, if the cops come, I'm just gonna be like, I don't just take me in. I don't know. Well, get me an attorney. I promise. Just watch the podcast. She's very, very clumsy. Okay. So she just fell and hit her head and died. I'm like, that's the least of our worries.
Well,
yes.
Wait.
Yes.
It was like 2 summers ago. I had to go into a concussion protocol because we were playing basketball in the rain and I slipped and I hit my head. Do you remember?
You slammed your head off the concrete. I'm just like, how? How are you always hurt?
And like a year later, I chipped my tooth playing basketball.
Yeah.
I can't wait because my office is now doing 4-on-4 basketball tournament, and then we're gonna have a flag football tournament in the end of July.
Yeah, so Sam will be in a full body cast probably very soon after she blows out every ligament and bone she has in her body. I'm like, so let's just dial it back. Maybe we just go watch the game. You know, nah, go hard, son. I'm gonna drink 8 Red Bulls and go hard.
So I told my oldest, it was like, I need to go run passes for you. I need to go run routes for flag football. And we need a new basketball because our basketballs are shit. They're shot. So I need a new basketball so I can go practice shooting some free throws and some 3-pointers. And I got to learn how to dribble. I know how to play basketball, but...
All right, let's wrap this episode up there, princess. You can talk about your basketball injuries, future injuries later. Okay? All right. We will see you guys next week. Let us know if OJ did it.
Hopefully, if I'm not in a cast or bandages or...
I don't know. I would put nothing past
I mean, I got a
point.
bruise and frostbite in a week, so let's see what happens.
In Florida. All right, guys. Next week. Later.